Today we were on the giant, well, I guess it's technically the LIV Giant Lust 1, which is one of the new bikes under the LIV Giant umbrella, women-specific bikes. And they're one of the few brands that are actually making women-specific. So different geometry. They actually invested in new molds to make these frames. And so it's nice to see a commitment like that. The naming could be better, but yeah.
Well, why don't you elaborate on that?
So the bikes are, I think, so we have the Lust, the Tempt, the Intrigue,
the Enchant.
I'm getting hot over here.
Obsess.
It sounds like
it's tough.
Yeah, it sounds like if I was going to have a family of strippers, I would have a lot of names ready for them.
Or open a family of strip club names.
This would be good to go.
So,
but other than the name.
But once you get past the name, which is easy to do, and I should say this bike in particular, I think it looks really cool. The colors, the graphic package. It's this great mix of, like, it's very, I think it just doesn't look overly female-y.
No, it just looks like a good-looking bike.
Yeah.
It's a good-looking bike. Absolutely.
And
no doubt about it.
Better than that, it rides
a good riding
really
bike.
good. It rides really good, especially it was a $3,200 bike.
Yeah.
See, I'm still scratching my head about that. I'm looking at that bike going, $3,200.
Right.
Crikey, how did they pull that off?
It's Giant's MO. They're kind of known for having a great value for the money.
Right.
Yeah.
And this is a great example of that.
And it weighed in at 25 pounds.
Another thing that made me scratch my head was the weight on this bike.
You scratch your head a lot.
I did. It's itchy. And so it's like, this bike weighs 25 pounds and change. 25.14 is what it came on the scales with. No pedals, of course, and without the dropper post. We did ride this bike with the dropper post, so we weighed it without the post because that's how it comes from Giant. 25.14 pounds, aluminum, 27.5 wheels.
Right.
I wonder how much.
What kind of trickery is going on here? That is fantastic, isn't it?
Magic.
It's magic.
They seem to have hidden more travel in the suspension because it's only 100 millimeters, but it felt like a lot more. It definitely felt very capable on the downhills.
It uses Giant's Maestro suspension platform, which I think is, I've been out for a few, maybe 7 or 8 years, and pedals really well, climbs well. I think it's a great platform.
It's in the same class as the Santa Cruz and the DW Link bikes. It's doing the same thing, and it's doing it really well. Really, really well. The Maestro, let's just call it what it is. It's the Maestro suspension system, and it's spot on.
Yeah.
So with the geometry, it's a shorter top tube. Did you feel like you could really tell it? I think the bars are a little narrower, shorter cranks. I mean, could you really tell that you were on different geometry, or did you feel like you benefited from that being, women specific?
Right. I mean, for me, I felt like it fit really well, but I feel like women are built a lot of different ways, just like men are built a lot of different ways. So I think it goes for saying for any bike, you need to hop on it, make sure it fits you and how you're built, no matter, no matter what gender you are. For me, it felt really good.
Well, I know the top level, super blinged out carbon version.
The $8,000 version.
The $8,000. There is an $8,000 version.
There is an $8,000 version.
There is.
Yeah.
There's also the entry level, I think, is mid-2000s,
which is fantastic. I mean, just to be able to get a bike that pedals really well, that feels really good,
But is this bike underrated?
Yes. Absolutely.
Why? Why is that? What's going on with this?
I mean, I think Giant has traditionally had a little bit of a, I'm not sure why, maybe a brand image problem, or maybe not even a problem, just they're perceived as one thing. And I think once somebody rides a giant, they have a totally different perspective on it.
They do.
I don't know if that's just the branding, the marketing. You know, maybe in the U.S. it's been, you know, years back they had maybe more lower level retailers, and maybe they're just fighting to get beyond that perception.
Right.
But you know, I don't think that should cloud anyone's view of the bikes.
Right.
Absolutely not. No.
Because I think we were all really impressed.
Yeah, I mean, the
with
true
what we
test
rode.
is when you're on the bike and
Right.
riding it, and we were all pretty uniformly happy with that ride.
Yeah.
I thought this was interesting. This particular model was the sizing they chose was, I think, extra small, small, and medium.
That's an interesting aspect of this bike, isn't it, really?
Right.
So there is no large. You don't get
No
a
large. The
So
medium was
Right.
an 18-inch.
if you're in the large category, then they're going to say, well, then we don't have a women's specific bike for you anymore. You're going to have to go get.
But is that a bad
Another bike.
thing? I mean, because at a
I
certain
don't
point,
think so. No.
a lot of times women-specific brands are really,
Yeah.
they're really trying to address the things that tend to be consistent about female riders, which we
Yeah.
do tend to be smaller. We have smaller hands.
Yeah.
There's not, you know,
Yeah.
that's just about it.
I
you
And
know?
I also
Yeah.
think a lot of women have no problem riding non-women specific
Absolutely.
bikes.
I
So-
I had no problem riding a women's specific bike.
So great
Right.
to see it.
Right.
You know, this bike rode great.
Right.
You know, we were talking about how it's underrated, how the suspension is underrated, and it pedals really well. It climbs well.
It descends well.
It descends well. It is a great technical climber. The way the Maestro suspension just sort of grips the ground and really comes over the bumps. And under pedaling, it doesn't tighten up. Some other bikes do that. This one does not.
Yep.
This bike rides really well.
And you got
So-
to ride something called Lust.
Yes.
I did. Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I was happy about that.
But yeah, overall, I think
I feel
this is a great bike for any small rider.
Yeah.
I mean, having the option to be able to go down to an extra small is appealing to
Definitely.
a lot of people
Right.
who aren't always women.
And I think this is a bike that you could invest in and ride for several years. It could be your only bike. You know, I think you can ride a variety of terrain on this and really be happy with this. I mean, I think it's a solid investment, bottom line.
Yeah.